Hey tribe, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to support me. So today's video is going to be about my spiritual awakening journey. So it's not long, I'm complicated, honestly. It's just like what triggered my spiritual awakening journey, which I will tell you guys. So let's get into it. So first of all, as I have told you guys, I have always been a very inquisitive child. I've always had questions, I've always been that child who asks questions before doing stuff. I've always been someone to challenge normal beliefs, honestly, like up to date. So, and that's why I'm where I am, honestly. So I remember, as I told you guys, I had so many questions about Christianity and God, and things were not making sense to me as a kid, but I had no one to talk to me or enlighten me. Everyone was is brainwashed and indoctrinated. you know when you question God, that's a sin. I remember every time I used to question stuff to my mom used to tell me, "Oh, you shouldn't be questioning stuff. God is powerful. He's not to be questioned. He's going to like punish you for questioning him." And I was like, "Bro, exactly my point. That's why I'm questioning this God, because how can you be so merciless yet so merciful? I really don't get it." Also, one thing that never used to make sense to me is, if God is fair and loves us all equally, why will he choose a gender? Like, why will he say he's a he? I feel like God is doesn't have gender. And if anything, honestly, I believe that if God has a gender, he's a woman. Hey, ati he. You see the indoctrination? If God is a woman, if God is, if anything, God is a woman. That's what I'm trying to say. So because we refer to Earth as she, us as a collective, we are she. The moon is she. You know. So, but anyway, let's get out of that part. So the Bible is very patriarchal, the religion is so patriarchal, the women are so oppressed in the Bible and in the religion, and that's something I do not like. And that was my first, and that was a red flag I realized after, after deconstructing the indoctrination. So yeah, so I had so many questions. Like, at the time we were suffering as I was a kid, I didn't grow up with money, so I used to wonder, if God is great and if he loves us, he's merciful, why are we suffering so much? And my mom used to pray so much, so I was like, why are we suffering so much? Why do I keep praying and one is answering me? I thought, if God is like the way the Bible teaches, I feel like we should be able to just ask God and he gives us anything we want. But anyway, so yeah, I used to wonder, why is he not giving us what we want? And it never used to make sense to me. And I used to wonder, why did he put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden? Why couldn't he just not put that tree of sin on the garden? Why did he have to put it? But so those are the type of questions I had. Now I'm giving you like a background of my spiritual awakening, so we can get to how I awakened. So yeah, I had so many questions like those ones. I was like, why didn't he? Okay, then he put the tree of sin there and Eve ate. Why didn't he like forgive Eve after they ate? Why didn't he forgive them? Like, you understand? So yeah, I had such questions, and I was like, Kevin and hell, why wouldn't he just forgive us? Or I used to feel like, why didn't can't God just create a world where there are no sins and hell? We just live a good life, That used to be my problem, because my life, I used to live with so much guilt because of sins, because I was so afraid of going to hell and burning for eternity. So for me now, I started following these religious teachings just so that I can not go to hell or something. But I was not living for myself. I was not living my true authentic life. I was just following what other people had followed, what other people found being taught. So I wasn't living my own life. I wasn't thinking for myself. I I tried to think for myself, but there was no platform for me to think for myself, or environment for me to think for myself. So these are things I had as a kid, but eventually I stopped asking questions because I got dismissed so badly, like so badly. Like I was threatened. My mom used to be like, "Yo, don't question God. Are you joking? Don't question God." Yeah, and it used to be such a big issue. Like you can tell, I could tell my mom anything, but if I tried to question God, that's where she drew the line, you know. And yeah, those are some of the things I used to wonder. And also something, oh my God, I've forgotten what I wanted to say. A very important thing. But later on, I realized, after awakening, I realized that, you know, Adam and Eve, the Eve eating the like forbidden fruit was like Eve gaining consciousness, was like Eve getting spiritually awakened. Like Eve got spiritually awakened before Adam. And I feel like, yeah, so that's why that's what that story means, because as you all know, the Bible is a metaphor. So let me now tell you the story of spiritual awakening, and then we'll come back to the story of the things I realized now after my spiritual awakening, things about Christianity that I realized after my spiritual awakening. So now in high school I was so religious, I was so into it, but one thing I can never forget, in high school I was never able to read a Bible. I used to pray, I was never pulled to go to these services, extra services on Saturday. I used to go for entertainment, or I used to go to class or entertainment, but mostly entertainment. And the moment I used to try and start my day with reading the Bible, because I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be close to God and pass my exams. I was still brainwashed in high school. I didn't have a platform to, you know, question stuff well in high school. There was no platform. So no phones, no nothing in high school. So yeah, I was so religious, and you know, I was praying a lot, but I never was never able to read the Bible. Whenever I used to read the Bible, I used to sleep the whole time. I never used to even finish a sentence during morning prayer at like 5 a.m. So yeah, after high school now, that's when things started changing. That's when my life shifted. So after high school now, I stopped going to church. I stopped taking church seriously. I would only go to church when maybe I came home from uni, you know, to, you know, yeah, maybe when I came home from uni. And then now I just started, I stopped going to church. And but before I stopped going to church, I started now seeing, I will see spiritual content here and there, and I will just look. I was still indoctrinated. I was like, okay. I was just taking in the information, you know. I was not questioning a lot. So I'll see it once and ignore it, and then I used to just ignore it, and I ignore it. And then so now, so I used to, like, you know, get these things, but I was ignoring it. So I continued going to church. I remember I even joined a choir. I joined a choir in some church in Nairobi, in Jogoo Road. So, but I only went once. I only went to that church twice. I went for practice once, and I went to that Sunday to present, and I was done. You know, I couldn't just, something didn't sit right with me in church. I never fit in. I never feel, I don't know, my energy was never settled or calm, or, you know, in church, you know. So yeah, so now I started seeing, and I was like, okay. I started now, you know, taking in some of them and questioning and being like, I don't think I'm that religious. And now I was in the middle, sasa, between religion and awakening, like spirituality, or thinking for myself, and this indoctrination. So I remember now, I usually tell you guys my heartbreak, like, triggered my awakening. It actually didn't trigger, it accelerated my awakening. Like, it made it come faster, you know. Because you guys believe the 19-year-old theory, that man, when you're 19, like your first man in uni, hey, like your first real relationship in uni, yeah, it will okay, it won't break you. Let me not, you know, feed you that, but mine. So yeah, that heartbreak really led me to a dark place. Mpaka I started to a point where I started searching how to heal, how to forget someone in a day, how to feel better about myself, how to, you know, I just wanted to be the person I was before that relationship. Like, I wanted to time travel so bad. I wanted to go back in time so bad and change things because, bro, I've never felt such, pain and such a bad feeling ever. Okay, I had had heartbreaks before, like when I was a teen, of course, but this was the real heartbreak as an adult. You understand how it goes. So I started searching how to love yourself, how to forget someone in a minute, and as I was going through into the rabbit hole of loving myself and forgetting someone, I got into tarot TikTok. These tarots that tell you, oh, he's thinking about you, oh, he will come back, oh, love yourself, oh, leave that one alone. You know these tarot traders who always like nini about relationship. Like, it's like they know when you're heartbroken or when someone breaks up with you. It's like TikTok spies on us, honestly, because the moment you're heartbroken, you'll see those TikToks on your For You page non-stop. So yeah, I started going through the rabbit hole. So in the process, I got into the rabbit hole of, now I started getting spirituality content on my TikTok. Now I got into that algorithm. So now that's why I say this heartbreak like accelerated my spiritual awakening, because it got me searching how to love myself, how to move on after a relationship. Now I started attracting these tarot readers who, you know, read about relationships, and you all know tarot reading is spirituality. So eventually I got into spiritual TikTok, and that's when my life changed. That's when I got all the answers that I had when I was a kid. I got all the answers and I felt so good. I can never forget that feeling. I can never forget the feeling of feeling free, realizing that I'm not gonna go to hell, realizing that I made the right decision of living my life the way I want without worrying whether I'm going to hell or not. I felt so relieved. I felt so happy. It's like a dream that came true, because when I was a kid, I used to wish, I hope all this is a lie. I hope there's no hell. I hope there's nothing like hell. I hope there's nothing like sin. I hope there's nothing like Satan. I used to pray and hope as I was a kid that there was nothing like that, only to become an adult and realize that yes, there's nothing like that. Hell is just a state of mind when you're stressed, depressed, when you're anxious, when you're doubtful, while heaven is your higher mind when you're happy, when you believe in yourself, when you're in a positive vibration and you are in a high vibration. I can never forget that relief I felt. I can never forget that relief I felt after that. Like, damn, it changed my life. It changed my life, honestly. Knowing that, life is not what I knew. I realized that, damn, the government, they are not on our side. And so many questions that I had really, you know, got answered, because damn, like, wow. So but that was the only first wave of spirituality. After I realized that there's no heaven, hell, I started living now my life authentically. Honestly, authentically, I realized that I am responsible of my life. No one is sitting down there watching who is behaving well to bless them. No one is sitting up there watching who is more spiritual, who is worshiping more, who is praying a lot of times per day, who is praying for long hours at it to bless them and make them rich. No, it's all within you. All you need in this earth is all within you. All you need in this earth is all within you. If you want to be rich, if it's abundance you're looking for, it's within you. If it's a relationship, a healthy relationship, it's within you. Search within you. There's nothing outside of you that will change your life. Whatever that is with your inner world is what will change your world. Your mind, your feelings, your nervous system, that is what will change your life. Nothing on the outside that can ever change your life. That's why you hear people say, change your mind so that you can change your life. For you to change your life, you need to change your mind. That's why I advise on doing affirmations if you want to reprogram your mind, if you want to change your life. So yeah, I felt so awesome. But then the problem is, now I knew there was no hell, no heaven, no nothing. So I got to learn about other spiritual stuff like shadow work, a lot of stuff. And yeah, but now one thing I realized it, that spiritual awakening doesn't happen once. It's not like a one-time wave. You will have a, for me so far, I've had like 3 or 4 spiritual awakenings. Like, you get. So the next, so yeah, I healed from that relationship. I went back again. I got heartbroken again. I healed, and it's been a roller coaster. Comment down below if you want me to tell you about my relationships and my yani, yeah, tell me. If you want to if you want to know, tell me in the comments and I'll do a video. So yeah, so now I start taking in information. Now I'm just learning and learning and learning and writing everything down in my notebook. I used to write the important information in my notebook. And you know, I've learned the government is a scam, the hospitals are a scam, schools are just a distraction. I've learned that everything is just a distraction, man. Like, you know, I'm now awake and my third eye is opened. I've learned about chakras and how I need to regulate my chakras and stuff. But then I used to learn now information at the time. Now at that time I used to learn information and never put it into practice. I knew that my mind is what Nini, you know, dictates my life. Like, I got to learn all the secrets of the universe. Also something, it's like I manifested this awakening, honestly, because imagine, I used to wish I learned the secrets of the universe when I was, I guess, in high school. When I was a kid, let me just say when I was a kid, I used to wish to learn the secrets of earth. You know, the secrets of this world, how I can be rich, how I can be the best, how I can make a nice body even when, you know, time passes by, how I can, you know, remain nice, a nice body, how I can age backwards. And I just wanted to know the secret of this universe, how I can be rich, how I can, you know, be the first billionaire in my family. I just wanted to learn the secrets of the universe so that I can change. And I just wanted to learn, and I did. But now when I learned, I didn't put into practice. I thought now because I had the information, I'm good. Hey, I was not thinking that I need to put this information into practice. You get? So as I was awakened but still engaging in self-destructive activities, I was trying to manifest but doing it once, and if I'm expecting results the next day, and I was just, you know, trying out things, and if they don't work, I was giving up and I was feeling depressed, and I was like, wow, this spiritual awakening is kind of weird. It's like, you know, it's not making things easier. I thought things were gonna be easier. Hey, you think spiritual awakening is going to make things easier? It will, but before it does that, you will have to do a lot of work, you know, to get to that point. But when you do the work, you'll see the results, and it's so awesome. So the next wave of awakening was when I saw myself constantly thinking about negative things happening to me, things that have not even happened. I'm just anticipating them in my mind. That was what was constantly in my mind. I was just thinking of bad things happening to me, and bro, bad things did happen to me. And this is when my second wave of awakening happened. And this awakening taught me to be cautious of what I put in my mind, bro. Be cautious of what you're entertaining in your mind, because you will manifest that. Keep entertaining negative thoughts, that's what you're going to attract. Keep entertaining positive thoughts, that's what you're going to attract. And it's easy to entertain negative thoughts because we are indoctrinated all our lives to think negatively, so that we sabotage ourselves and we remain in this low state so that they can be able to control us, you know. So now learning how to, like, reprogramming your subconscious mind and forcing yourself to, and not forcing yourself, like, you know, learning to entertain positive things, learning to anticipate for the best case scenario. It will take some time and it's hard work, but when you are able to do it, it's awesome, and you're gonna change your life, you know. After anticipating and thinking negatively about my life and it happening exactly the way I had thought about it, bro, that was the second wave of awakening, and it was brutal because I had all the information, but I chose to do the opposite. I had all the information, but I didn't put it into practice. I was self-sabotaging myself, and I knew I was self-sabotaging myself, but I couldn't help it. Plus, I hadn't, like, you know, consciously manifested my thoughts, yani nikiona, you know, so I didn't know how, like, it can be that real. I thought, the universe loves me, it won't look at my thoughts, it shook you. It shook me. But then now that awakened me to how powerful my thoughts are. It awakened me to how powerful I am, bro. And right now as we speak, I have learned to consciously manifest. I have learned to, affirm and keep and to be consistent in thinking the thoughts, the positive thoughts that I want to manifest in my life. I have known that my circumstances right now do not matter, but my thoughts right now matter, because the thoughts right now are gonna manifest in the future. My thoughts right now is my life in the future. So if I'm not cautious and present and, disciplined and consistent, thinking positively or thinking the thoughts that I want to manifest in the future, I'm going to be self-sabotaging myself. So right now, I am very conscious. I have learned how to consciously manifest and consciously, think about the things that I want to attract. I've learned how to control my mind. Learn how to control your mind. Learn how to make your mind work for you. Don't make your mind work with circumstances. Control your mind, control your subconscious mind. And when you master that, it's gonna be like magic. You're gonna be manifesting instantly. I've still not gotten there, but I'm getting there. I know I've already gotten there. If you know what I'm doing. I've already gotten there. I'm working on it. I've already gotten there though. So yeah, that was my second wave of awakening, bro. I realized my power. I realized how powerful I am, and I was playing with myself, bro. I was playing and self-sabotaging, but I realized who I was, after the second wave of awakening. But yeah, the waves of awakening are a lot, and if you don't put in to work the information you learn, it won't help you. So yeah. Also, one thing I need to mention, I didn't mention, the thing I forgot to mention when I was beginning the video, is that, if you don't think for yourself and think independently, you are going to be stuck in a cult and in a religion that our ancestors were forced into. Many of them were killed because of this religion. Our ancestors didn't have a choice but to follow this religion. But now we have a choice. We have a choice to change. We have a choice to make a change and think for ourselves. We have a choice to abandon this religion that tortured our ancestors. They were forced into it. They didn't get into it willingly. And with that information, that's the biggest red flag, is that our ancestors did not get into religion willingly. They were forced into it. And I'm so proud of myself for awakening. I'm so proud of myself for, remembering. Not everyone remembers. Like, most of you guys, before, like, you reincarnated here, I know you told yourself you would awaken, but some people don't remember, but some people it takes time, but everyone is on their journey. So yeah, that's my spiritual awakening journey. It's been a rough journey, yet a fulfilling journey. It's been a roller coaster. And so, as I tell you guys, after my second wave of awakening, I started becoming serious with affirmations. I had time for affirmations every day in my life, and let me tell you, it took me less than a year to achieve what I started manifesting. And I'm making a video after this on what I manifested after now my second wave of Nini. It took me less than a year to achieve whatever it is that I was manifesting. After I realized how my negative thoughts manifested in my life, I now chose to use my mind to work for me and think positively. I started writing like affirmations for everything: beauty, body, whatever it is that I found, followers, whatever I wanted. I started affirmations, and I had time slot in the morning. All the affirmations I used to do, all the affirmations in the morning, all the affirmations during the day, all the affirmations at night, or any other time when I feel like doing them, or the ones that I've memorized, I will just say them throughout the day. I used to do these affirmations every single day without fail, from Sunday to Sunday, from Sunday to Sunday. And let me tell you, I manifested whatever I wanted in less than a year. Stay tuned, because I'm making a video next on how I manifested something. So yeah, how I manifested. Actually, let me tell you how I manifested 70,000 TikTok followers. I'll tell you guys, and I will do the same here for YouTube. Watch me, you guys. Watch me. We are in this together also, you guys. I'm not a guru. I'm also learning. I do make mistakes. I do self-destructive things. you know. Tell me if you want me to talk about the self-destructive things. Sometimes I do, even if I'm self-aware. Sometimes I fall back, sometimes I feel negative, sometimes I feel like overwhelmed. You know, I'm not perfect. We're figuring this out together. I'm not a guru. Let's grow together, you guys. Let's start manifesting. What is it that you want to manifest? You start manifesting together, because let me tell you, in the next 2 months I'm gonna give you a testimony. But I hope you enjoyed this video. That was my spiritual awakening journey. And how I know, and I just follow intuition, honestly, with these spiritual topics. Whatever I find or I come across, if my intuition tells me it's true, I just follow my intuition. And it's okay to contradict yourself, by the way. Be compassionate and patient with yourself. It's okay, it happens. You can, yeah, it's okay to contradict yourself and stuff, but you know, yeah. So I guess, yeah, that's my spiritual awakening video. Tell me what you nini. When I get another wave of awakening, of course I'll tell you guys. But I love it here. So much freedom. I love it. I can be creative. I get to experience magic. Like magic. Magic is real, honestly, and you can do it. You can do it. So yeah, I guess that's all for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you on my next one. Bye.